Hello everyone and welcome to the commentary track for Season 1 of GHAMVs. I love commentary tracks and I wanted today to actually do one because this Call of Duty render is taking a while. So while I'm waiting for this to be done, let's discuss the videos I've made over the past year plus. So we have the Night Trap video, the PlayStation 5 video, the 2 King Kong videos and the Doritos Games video. If you want to skip to a particular commentary, please do so on the timestamps below. But without further ado,
the year was 2007.
So the inspiration for this video was the fact that I loved FMV games and still do love FMV games. And as I mentioned here, I was a big fan of Guru Larry, and I used to watch his segment on Challenge, the TV channel Challenge in the UK, and I saw this review and this clip and it stuck with me ever since just because of this scene. In retrospect, this is so funny and I touched on that later in the video, but yeah, let's go. So the thing with the TV screen was that at the time I was watching a lot of Ren's reviews and I liked the idea that he did of using this green screen really creatively. So I wanted to try and do what I could with what I had. I have me, my tripod, my camera, and a Blue Yeti at the time that I used. I have a better microphone now. And I think I could have done more with that idea. I wish I did actually, saying all that. I think I do a couple nice transitions, but I know I can do more. Speaking of the TV, in a sense, the background, you'll notice if you have a keen eye that it goes from daytime to nighttime as I shoot the video. I'm proud of this, by the way, this little chroma key. I like trying to throw in Naruto wherever I can to give it my own little stamp, since I in my circle anyway, I was always known as the Naruto guy. I still am known as the anime guy, even though I haven't watched an anime properly in years at this point, but what are you gonna do? But going back to the curtains, yeah, it started. I started the shoot about 2 p.m. I think, and it ended about 9-10 p.m. because I was so out of practice in terms of memorizing lines. I'm probably out of practice right now to the point where I'm having to edit this commentary track because there are just moments of silence. Nice little face by me there. So the reason I'm playing this on the Nintendo Switch actually is because it was on a deep sale. I got it for £1 or £2, and I finally played this game and Double Switch. I've seen Night Trap before in person. I saw a Sega CD version at a History of Video Games Expo in Newcastle at their university, which was really cool actually. If I can find some, I'll throw some pictures up from when I was there. And I wanted to play it, but I think we only had an hour, and I wanted to play other things. But the interest of Night Trap always stuck with me. Yeah, this game really is a classic game in terms of you aren't really told jack in terms of what you're supposed to do, really. Sure, there's that preamble at the start with that little video that says, you're looking after these girls and whatever, but I had no idea what was going on. This was my legitimate reaction the first time I played this game, the one that's about to happen.
What is going on? How was I supposed to know what to do?
Yeah, so I played it for the first time, completely boosted up, I didn't know what I was doing. I instantly, I think, changed the colour, so I completely messed myself up straight away. But yeah, at least with this version, it does tell you what you're supposed to do. It just says, well, it doesn't even say, to be fair, actually, I say that. It doesn't say, click this to learn how to play the game. You're just kind of thrown in. So I'm guessing this was made more for classic fans more than people like me who had never played it back in the day. Yeah, look at that. 0 captured. In retrospect, I'm not a massive fan of this TV thing. As you can see there at the top left of the screen near my head, the light just was not playing well with the chroma key. And it literally was a Amazon Fire Stick, an old one that I gave to my grandparents to, so they can use iPlayer on their old TV. I just put a bright green image on there and just had to every 10 minutes actually keep pressing the remote so that it wouldn't turn off. I changed the sleep settings halfway through the shoot, but too little too late then, really, wasn't it? And the light, by the way, in question is one of my 2 studio lights that I have. I'm weirdly proud of this next joke.
Japanese recently, so maybe we'll understand the story a bit more if I play it in Japanese.
私たちだけよ。どんなことでもやり放題。パパとママはいない。これこそチャンスじゃない。
She kisses her mother with that mouth?
And yeah, there was one of the few times I think I did use the green screen to its well, I used it to a good effect. I wish I did more, but then again, I think during the editing process, I couldn't think of many other things to do apart from zoom in and zoom out, and I didn't want to do that too many times. Sadly, I couldn't do much dynamic stuff with it because it's a stationary thing. It's not like my inspiration for that idea of Ren's reviews, where he had a portable green screen. I just couldn't do that. So if I was to do that idea again, I would use a portable green screen of some degree, which I do have, but it's a pain in the bum to set up and put down. I did play through this game multiple times to try and naturally learn the story. I did have to read it eventually to fully get the picture, but everything you're hearing is my experience.
Somebody's into some freaky stuff, and
Yeah, I don't remember what that actually is, that weird thing. Like, I played the game, but don't remember what that was. Someone, please, in the comment section, tell me what she was holding, because to me, in the editing process, I noticed that and then did ADR later. A good rule of thumb I have for when I edit stuff, right, is that if you still find it funny after you stepped away from the project, then you should stick with it, because a lot of the time I don't trust myself. So whenever I do actually see a joke I like, it does make me smile. Like, for example, this bit here, I wanted to cut, but the problem is I found it really needed, because I started this video by mentioning the shower scene, so I had to have it in some degree. So yeah, as I watch this back now, I'm not massive on this scene, but you know what, it's fine. I think it's fine. I still think my delivery of the colour was wrong was not bad.
the color, I tell you.
Still daytime, by the way. It's still daytime at this point in the shoot. Yeah, that was actually really hard, because so if you've only ever seen like the clip of her being apparently killed and pulled away, the actual scene is about a minute long, if that longer. So it was really hard to pace that scene properly, because I didn't know when to cut or how long to have it cut and have it be shown on screen. It was a hard thing. Also, I don't know if you noticed that I used the screen in game as a transition. I wish I did that more, because then it makes a more smooth watching experience, I find. But whatever. I have a weird fascination of using. I have a weird fascination of cutting off swears to transition to the next point. I do it a few times in the Cold War video. I can only reference that because at the time of recording it, I literally just finished the video. I'm surprised I didn't make any jokes, because the name is Scat, and you can make jokes of that. But maybe I thought it was just too low hanging fruit. I don't know. I never noticed how bad is that gun that the dude holds. That's really bad. There you go. I think that's 3 times so far I've used the transition through the TV. I think that's actually, I say what I said earlier in the commentary, but that's actually not a bad amount of times, because it's used just enough maybe that it feels dynamic. So like, as I am about to watch this montage, I still find it a bit cringe, especially now that I'm better and stronger and all that jazz. But I don't know, I wrote it and I wanted to stick by my guns, because a lot of the time I don't when I used to work on formal projects. So I really wanted to stick to my guns, and even if it's not funny, hopefully this bit is. Oh, and that's the portable green screen I mentioned earlier in the commentary. As you can see, it's so big that in this small room I was shooting in at the time, I had to have it slanted just to work. This is very weird to watch, because I shot all this stuff about 1.5 years ago, so this is a completely different me. And as also, you can probably tell that I just watched One Piece at the time. I rewatched a portion of it and then got caught up in about 2.5 months. I was very mentally low at the time, and I refound One Piece and I adored it. Watch One Piece and read it if you can. It's funny, this gameplay here I have of Double Switch, whatever it was called, that's like all I have. I have like 2.5 minutes. So as I played Night Trap, I really didn't know if I was going to make a video on it, but as I researched it, I respected the game a lot more than I actually enjoyed it. So that's what birthed this ending portion, because I don't like Night Trap. I really don't in terms of a game. I think it's not fun in the slightest. I'm glad I only paid £2. But in terms of A, history, in terms of both filmmaking and in gaming, and B, in terms of me as a filmmaker and my history with filmmaking and video games, I really respect Night Trap, as I mentioned at the end of this video. But I really wanted to hammer home the point I want you to take away from this video is that Night Trap definitely changed gaming history forever because of the ESRB, and I'm assuming Peggy was then born from it later. I'm in the UK if you can't tell. And I have a weird fascination of preserving stuff, right? So I regret deleting a lot of my old videos I've made, even though they're complete tosh, and I really don't like a lot of them. In some respects, I don't like this one in some ways. I wish I kept the source files and footage and stuff because it's history. One day I might need that. And I really enjoyed playing this game because you only saw what they could find. So, as I mentioned earlier in this video, there are scratchy bits of footage and stuff because that's the best they had. And I love anything that archives history in terms of filmmaking and gaming. And this really just feels like an archive that you can play more than a product. Maybe that's me interpreting it wrong, but I don't know. I'm weird like that, I guess. I personally really enjoy videos that have a personal connection to it, and I did my best with every video in this season to connect personally to the product I'm talking about in some way to make it more unique to me. And I think this one is the most personal of the bunch because I have a history of making this exact same product, and I hope that comes through in the final release. Would I make this video differently? I'd change small things, but overall I'm still happy with it. I'm always going to dislike my work just because that's the kind of creator I am, but I personally enjoyed rewatching this video and I really love this ending. Shout out to my youngest brother. Hopefully he's watching this. I didn't show him on screen properly because he just had surgery at the time and I wanted to have him be comfy, but I don't know why. I just wanted to hear someone who was younger who doesn't know what Night Trap is hear the story of Night Trap. And I don't know. I'll let him take it away.
So I want to make this thing that sucks blood out of people. Oh wait, that's just a needle.
Bruh.
Like, that is why I'm so happy I asked him for his point, because that ending is perfect. The ending I had originally written, I don't know if I'll see if I can find it. If it's not on screen right now, I couldn't find the original ending, but it was completely different, and my littlest brother just put a full stop on this video so perfectly. So that was Night Trap. Hello everyone and welcome to the King Kong Games video. This one was very fun to make. I have had a hit list or shit list or whatever the heck you want to call it that I wanted to do for the longest time, right? Like, I have a Google Doc full of loads of video ideas, like it's pages upon pages worth. Okay, like 3 pages, but still shush. And the King Kong Games thing always came back to me because it's always interested me.
Shower while I'm also thinking about why she won't answer my calls.
Sorry, I like that joke. Still do a little bit. This game has always been so interesting to me because it released on so many consoles, as you're about to see. Nice spot, dickhead. You can tell that I do not care about what I look like in front of the camera. Like, look at what I'm wearing. I love what I'm wearing. I haven't worn that kind of combo since. I look like I'm about to go and buy a Cornetto from your local co-op. Shout out to my UK people that understand what the hell I just said. But I've always enjoyed this game. I enjoyed it back in 2005, and I wanted to try it again just to see what it would be like. Just going to check the audio is cool. The audio is cool. And yeah, it was known for so long as another one of the achievement games, which I now own all of those games, by the way, because, well, FIFA 06 I have nostalgia for. I remember playing it on my uncle's Xbox. And Avatar the Burning Earth, I have recently seen Avatar with my partner, and I wanted to see if it was actually any good. Possible video down the line, I don't know. But yeah, this game always interested me, and I was willing to bet it'd have an interesting history because of how many versions there are. And I managed to get 2 videos out of this. So how much is it in total? 17. I think I got like 35, half an hour worth of time. So 35 minutes, 30 minutes worth of time. And I'm proud of that, man, considering it's one game technically. Of course, it's technically 4 versions, because the 360 version is the same as the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube versions, but still was interesting to talk about. And the PC version is the same, isn't it, as the rest. The Night Trap video, right, was a challenge in and of itself, because Night Trap is this own beast. It's its own beast. It's got this deep history and all that. Well, as I mentioned, the King Kong game I thought would have interesting history, but at the end of the day, it's still a movie license game, and the gaming sphere of the internet, i.e. YouTube, loves movie license games because most of the time they are tosh. And they're not wrong, but even still, I wanted to try and challenge this with this video, because this game is interesting in my eyes, as you can probably guess, because I talked about it. And I have a rule, really, where I don't really enjoy talking about crap. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you've watched all my videos and now are talking about watching this video just to get more context, when I'm talking about positives, I have a lot more to talk about, more than negatives, which I find is normally the opposite in people. Like, if it's good, they'll just go, yeah, it's good, for quite a few people. But then the negatives are much easier to find. I used to find that with film. It was much easier to find a negative than was a positive. And I do agree that is actually true. But it takes, I wouldn't say someone unique, but it takes something to, I don't want to be up arsey here, but you do have to kind of have something in your head to pick up on positives more than negatives, and tell yourself why you're enjoying this. And I had that to start with this game. Like, yes, there are negatives with this game. It's a movie license game, probably made quite quickly. I think it was 18 months it took to make this game, which is quite quick for a movie license game, I would say. Sorry, quite long, I'd say, actually. I'm fine with that joke still. But in terms of AAA game development, you know, that's not the longest. Normally 2 years, I'd say, is the minimum. Or, like, the minimum for, like, yeah, this game is going to be good in most people's eyes. I don't know. Everyone's different in terms of how long they think a game should be in the oven for. Shout out to Cyberpunk. Ha ha ha. But yeah, I really enjoyed picking up on what some people might find as just basic things nowadays, but how interesting this game is in terms of a time capsule of how ambitious it is. Because this game is ambitious. I really do actually believe that now. It is ambitious. And it looks pretty damn great still, in my opinion. Like, obviously, what you're seeing right now is a exported video, which is being watched on OBS. So it's getting compressed upon compressed. But the actual source footage, if you play it, you know, on a console, I say the 360 version is the best version still due to the Xbox backwards compatibility crap. This game still looks pretty damn great. Like, obviously it's got problems, but like, look, man, I don't think it's that bad for a game that came out in 2006. This version wasn't it? Or was it 5? I forget now. It's been a while since I wrote this video. Fun fact: this video was finished, I want to say June or July. It's June or July of 2021. Everything was finished apart from one shot, which was the bit where I'm in a bed and then Crash Bandicoot is in the corner. That is actually in my current, at the time I'm recording this, flat. But it's interesting actually saying that. So me and my partner met in 2020. I'm not going to go too deep into details here, but you get to see our relationship kind of timeline, because you get to see a cutaway gag in our first flat together. I like that hit marker. Sorry, hit markers are still funny to me. If you're making a video and want to have like slapping something or someone's being slapped, add a hit marker. It's funny. Yeah, the second cutaway in this video is actually in the first flat we had together, which is like a tiny 1-bedroom house. I think that's the one where I'm like burning a bone, and the other one is in our current one, which are, I don't know, maybe just for me and it's just interesting. I just find that interesting. Like, I bet some people who have been watching a content creator for a long time go back to old videos because, right, they record it in their old house or flat, you know, and I think I'll do the same here. I'll look back here at this video, look at those clips, and be nostalgic. Editing this video wasn't too bad at all. It wasn't a nightmare like the COD video. Like the COD video, oh god, I need to start logging my hours. I'm going to from now on. There's the cutaway to my other flat. What's quite funny is the flat was so tiny, right, that what you didn't see off camera was piles of crap. Like piles upon piles of crap, man, because we lived in a tiny place. It was a mirror, like, it was a test almost just for us to see if we'd stick together. So, Still going strong. This will look bad in 10 years if we're not together anymore, but what are you going to do? Someone play the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme now. I hope she doesn't listen to this. Back to the video. Yeah, editing it wasn't too bad. This was a learning experience for me in terms of taking notes, because I had no idea where a lot of the clips were. And I do my best to try and not source other people's footage, because as someone who, at this current moment in time, does that a lot for his line of work, you can tell the drop in quality from someone who recorded it on their own capture card or, capture software to someone who's downloaded it. For me, I can notice the compression. I notice the blacks a lot of the time look different. Like, they're much harsher and not pure black. Obviously, they're not pure black here because it's not the highest quality, but you get my point, hopefully. These are just rambles. They have no script, so sorry about that. Yeah, this was really disappointing, how bad the Kong sections were, really. Like, there are little things to like, such as... I need to talk about the t-shirt, don't I? What was the inspiration for the t-shirt? I don't know. I completely forgot about this t-shirt. Before I thought of my simple thumbnail design, I just thought, this is going to be the thumbnail. Like, when you have like an idea and it sticks in your head, like I had the idea for the video 8 years ago. I finally decided I'm going to cover this now because I found the game for like £1 in a charity shop, and the 360 version, that is. The rest I had to source from eBay, Music Magpie, and a few other places, because I bought a lot of copies of this game. I think the GBA version was eBay, because it came with a box. That was so cool for me. We'll discuss that in the Portable Games video. But I had this idea for a t-shirt, like a dumb t-shirt, and the idea, I just thought, world's biggest King Kong, the official game in the movie fan, with like a low quality image. So what I did was I searched for t-shirt makers, and I tried to search for ones that had bad reviews, because I thought that would create a funnier image. And I still have the t-shirt. I still think it is funny, and it's a stupid joke. No one's probably going to find it funny apart from me. Maybe I should have put more emphasis on it. I definitely would have if I used it as a thumbnail, but I'm happy with my current thumbnail style. Something, nice and basic, to the point, that kind of crap. But yeah, hopefully you found the t-shirt funny. I did and still do. It was way more expensive than I thought it'd be. I thought a t-shirt, like a crappy one, would just be like a £5, 10 quid max. But no, this, including shipping, was like 18 quid, which is, I don't know, about $24, $25 US, which, I love that joke. See, look, there's a good example there about the compression thing I mentioned. That little B-roll shot of Red Dead Redemption 1 is B-roll from someone else's video. I use it because it's like a second, and I don't have footage of that. I'm not playing the entire game. See, I don't get this right. There are content creators I know, big and small, some that I'm even friends with, right, that will record like so much footage to get like a 3-second shot, when I personally believe it's okay just to source it and be like, I did this, or this has happened to me before, or I've seen this before. You know what I mean? Like, for example, playing a fighting game to get a shot where you unlock a character. I don't know. But yeah, that was a great example there of showing how rough even a 1080p quote download of a video can be. Like, the quality, in my opinion, is so different. Like, if any of you out there watch, I guess, any content in general, but mainly video game stuff, especially if it's a list or any kind of crap like that, look at the quality of the video and how it changes. Like, for example, this video here has changed now because I'm sourcing the behind the scenes bit. But I had to for that, since I tried to buy the original DVD. I wanted the quote gamers edition of this game, but I just couldn't find it anywhere for a fair price. Like, I'm a kid still in many ways, man, and that includes my bank account. Like, I edit videos for a living. I ain't breaking the bank. I'm not making King Kong what's it? King Kong, the official game of the movie, Gamers Edition money. Like, I don't make that, man. I don't make that.
Jack Black, for example, really gave it his all. Finally, this game has a score. It was done by an orchestra to try and give that cinematic feel, but for me, it was just kind of there. It served its purpose, but I can't exactly hum you any of the tunes. One random thing I loved about this game, if you're fighting...
So, like, this, again, is, like, something you don't really find on like Wikipedia and stuff like that. You don't find this kind of information of just you diegetically learning something about the game. So the point I'm trying to get here is, yes, you can read the wildlife fight each other in the game, but I experienced it, and then you kind of I believe you got my intent there, like the passion in my voice, and I was like, mate, this is cool, you know. And that's what I wanted to try and do with all my videos. Like, for example, with the COD Cold War video, that's definitely gonna have to be some kind of special video. I'm not talking about it for 2 hours. I already mentioned this in the Doritos video, so there we go. You can tell I'm just dreading talking about the COD for 2 hours again. But yeah, with the COD video, I remember not talking about the campaign, the multiplayer story, because I didn't experience it really, and I didn't want to just read Wikipedia. So whenever I research, I try and use other sources besides Wikipedia. Wikipedia I found is a great starting ground. Like, you can find sources. Like, if you ever noticed a number next to a sentence, that's a source. I click on that and then read that source and then use other sources, because that's better. It's more reliable, I find. Again, this is something unique I believe only I really can bring, because I have a weird, unique interest of interactive museums. Like, it's weird, right? I don't really care much for museums in person, like, as in going to one. Like, do you want to go to the science museum? I'm alright, mate. I'll go to the gym or something. Cheers, mate. But this just adds another layer of fun for me, because we're playing a game, as I just mentioned. We're playing a game. Why not have an interactive museum? And, like, yeah, Modern Warfare 2 is the only example I can think of that has them. That's why this joke exists. I'm kind of hoping people will tell me about interactive museums. The continuity was quite funny to keep in this video, because, well, yeah, I have this stack of games, and I didn't want to have it be weird or out of place. Like, you know, the games were next to me to my left, and then they're on the right for some reason, you know. So I had to keep continuity with that. And that came down to guessing. I think I did well, but please do comment if I didn't. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to improve. Hopefully you can see that in my quality. This next bit, again, about the behind the scenes DVD thing, again, is tapping into my unique things. Like, if you've seen any of my content, particularly the DVD games video, I love behind the scenes stuff. That's why I'm doing this right now. Like, say this video gets 100 views, I'm willing to bet like 4 or 3 people watch it, just for an example, because most people don't care about behind the scenes unless it is unique. Like, for example, people love the Harry Potter world because it's an interactive experience and that kind of stuff. You can go there in the UK, I should add, the like making of Harry Potter thing in the UK and London, which I haven't been to yet. I'll go one day, because that does interest me, of course. But most people don't watch interviews, don't watch, you know, people saying we made this because but I have a massive passion for it. Like, I in many cases love the product. How do I explain this? I love the making of the product more than the product itself, if you catch my drift. Like, oh god, look at that. I recorded that footage December 7th 2019. Looking at the date now on my laptop, sorry, a computer screen. Dear lord, man, yeesh. This is taking so long. But this commentary didn't feel like it went long. I really enjoyed this, and I hope you've enjoyed this commentary as well. And I will see you if you continue to watch, a few seconds as we discuss the King Kong handheld games. See you there. Here we go then, straight into it. At least for me. I don't know if you took a break and came back. I don't know. This previously section here was added just so that, yeah, people who maybe didn't watch the first video because they only care about the handheld games wanted to watch, then I gave them this. I thought, why not? It does set up the I think it's the Game Boy Advance or DS version, the DS version. I want to talk about that because I couldn't really think of a way to jump straight into it, so I just thought I'll just go straight into it. Say it sucks. It does suck. Like, it was terrible. Recording it was terrible, to be fair. Like, I understand emulating it, but I wanted to show people how rough it looks. I think I mentioned this in the Doritos game video, or the King Kong one, the first one, I forget which. These commentaries are blending. But shooting IRL footage is quite hard. This is a unique example for me because I'm behind the camera here, and when I can see what the camera looks like, I'm actually pretty good at cameras in my opinion. Like, sure, the ISO here is not perfect, the white balance could be better, but yeah, whatever man. I'm making a bloody video about video game. I'm making a video about a DS game, a GBA game, and a PSP game that no one's gonna play nowadays, so shush. Completely different location. But yes, I have gear that means I can't see what I look like when I'm filming, so that's why certain shots are soft when I'm on camera, unfortunately. You may have noticed sometimes they're not. Normally that's because either I got lucky or I'm using my phone. I believe actually this one, I remember, actually it clicked, I remember. So, pardon me, I shot, keeping all this in baby, I shot both King Kong videos in one day. God, that looks so bad still. And what happened was I shot the first part of this two-parter on a DSLR, my Nikon D3300, if anyone wants to Google it and see how old my camera is that I bought that I still use, because although I don't like it amazingly, it still works, man. And the battery died, and I had no idea where the charger was. I know it's so silly, but the charger is tiny, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I spent a good half an hour looking for it, and daylight was burning. I only had a certain amount of time to film it in, so I just got out my phone, my old phone now, and just said, you know what, I'm going for this. And to be honest, I think it looks better. Like, although it might be a bit brighter, and I need to work on my color correction a little bit, better to be bright than dark, I guess. But anyway, I think I'm going to keep using my phone from now on. Even if I only export in 1080p, I'm going to shoot in 4K and then down convert to 1080p. The main thing that jumping out to me is, and I wish I met my partner sooner to tell me this, is that these spots are horrific and I need to cover them up. I will say this, guys, when I was in film school, for a short film I starred in called The Bathroom Attendant, I had to wear some shit on my face. I don't know what it is. Concealer? No. What is it? Someone comment. It makes your skin look, non-spotty. And I kicked up a fuss about it. But nowadays I fully understand why they wanted me to, because A, I'm a spotty boy. Like, before, I'm gonna shave my hair soon, but like this hair gives me a spotty forehead, and B, spots really show on camera. Like no, look at the top of his head, my forehead, but look at the spots in this video, man. Like, I had a bad day. Then again, I recorded this at a very depressing time in my life. So, as you can tell, I didn't really care what I was wearing, apart from that t-shirt. But anyway, the DS shoot is in like me shooting the DS footage. God, it was like 15-20 minutes, I think. Like, I did not play it for very long. So I'm kind of proud that I played it for as long as I did. The King Kong PSP game surprised me in how much I actually didn't mind it. Like, if I had it at the time, and I say this, I did used to have it. I played it for about 20 minutes because I remember buying a second PSP second hand from a friend of mine. This was the only game he had for some reason. And it looks great on the PSP screen, so yeah, like, this is emulated, of course. If you ever want to play a PSP game, just emulate it, man. Like, this is an emulator of a PSP game playing at, I think, either 4K or 1080p. Like, it looks great in my opinion, minus a few technical things. I'm gonna keep that runner going. That's from the Rocky Games video where I mentioned the PSP only has one nub instead of an analog stick. Fun thing about the PSP, right? I remember getting it. My dad imported it from Japan. Thank you, Dad. When it came out, and I remember I had a copy of Spider-Man 2, I think it was, on the PSP, and I had no idea what was wrong with the game. Right? I couldn't move. All I could do was move the camera. I had no idea that little nub. But don't forget, I'm how old would I have been? 2004. I would have been 7, possibly 8, probably 7 though, when I was playing this PSP, right? And I didn't realize. That's funny. I didn't realize the nub is an analog stick, because to me it looked like a weird speaker or something. I'm never gonna forget that. And that's not me. I had to source that. I don't have it. I do have it on UMD now. I tried to get it in time for this video to be done, and obviously I do have it now, but I am not re-rendering, re-uploading, re-subtitling this video just because of a one B-roll shot. Which is funny that I say that, because I re-exported the COD video a few times because of that. I'm not talking about the videos that much, am I? I'm more just talking. Then again, that's some of my favorite commentary tracks, like the Dodgeball soundtrack, commentary track, for example, is just Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn talking crap for an hour and a half and just being mean to everyone else in the recording studio, if I remember rightly. That's an idea I've always wanted to do, is commentary, like discussing commentary tracks, but it'd have to be in a more overall video about DVD commentaries and DVDs in general, like why I loved DVDs or some kind of crap like that. I don't know. One day we'll workshop it, me and you. It was very interesting to do this two-parter from a writing perspective. Like, when you can have a rough idea of what you want to do with the video. Like, for example, the only thing I knew when I picked up the original game and had this idea was that I wanted a dumb t-shirt. That's all I knew. So I was really impressed and surprised with myself when I had nearly 40 minutes worth of footage and time with me talking about this video game, man. Like, I was impressed, and I'm really happy with how it's all turned out. Would I play these games again? Probably not, because they are one and done. As I mentioned it, I think, in the original video, that these games are one and done as their weekend games. This, though, is the biggest surprise, next to finding out the GBA version is a Zelda clone, or like Zelda-esque game, sorry. Is that, yeah, this game of all games has multiplayer. This, I love that joke. It was an audible once again, as I mentioned multiple times now over this commentary. I recorded and wrote a lot of this stuff in a big depression. Like, ooh, it was bad, man, very, very bad. Never say that again, Antonio, Jesus. And that little edit there was me. I left room for a joke about just like something sad, and I was like, mate, F this, I'm not having this. Let's fill it with some kind of crap. This Jessica through line about the person, you know, me sending her the DS game and stuff, I still find it somewhat funny, mainly just because the concept is so dumb. And I'm kind of happy how I salvaged it with the ending bit of like, I spent so much money on these games. But oh yeah, this was so fun. So this was, I waited to film this until I was in my new flat because I wanted it against like a nice background, and I thought my Herman Miller chair would be a nice background. I shot this in DSLR. Shouldn't have really. I should have done it with my phone for focus reasons. But this was so cool. Still proud of this joke. No, this video does not exist. Maybe if we reach 100,000 subs one day, I'll make that video. What was it? 10 anime babes you want to date or something? That's a reference to some of the videos I've had to create in the past for some clients. I'll go no deeper than that unless someone fucking pays me. But I love this because I don't own a physical GBA game anymore. It's in, like, you know, the cardboard and all that jazz. I still have some GBA games back home. Admittedly, nowadays I just play GBA through emulation, like I did to get some of this footage, as you're going to see. There, see? Like, I purposely wanted to show this is emulated, so I showed, you know, a full screen of it. And I enjoyed unboxing that game so much. Just because GBA games, even like a shovelware-esque one like this, I guess I wouldn't say it's shovelware because it's got effort, but a less than in-demand one like this still cost a little bit of money. Like, it cost way more than I thought it would, and I was fine to do that for this video because I thought, if I'm going to go in, I'm going to go in deep, you know. So yeah, I really enjoyed getting this game. The game itself, again, caught me by surprise. Like, I was so shocked at how not bad this game was. Like, it's not amazing. Like, would I say it's good? Not really. But I expected dog turd, and I got, I don't know, healthy dog turd. Like, if you've got a dog and you pick up their poo and you're like, oh, good girl, you've been eating well, versus flipping hell, what have you been eating? You know, like, that's what this game was. What an analogy for a GBA game. The King Kong DVD, you might have noticed in the background there, it's there for two reasons. That's because, number one, I'm talking about King Kong, so why not have the movie, the reason we're here discussing all this jazz. And two, there is going to be a part 3 one day. There is actually more to talk about with King Kong. It won't be a long video, it'd be a short one because there isn't that much I can talk about. But this was going to be part of this season as well. In fact, I was in talks with a few people to guest people who I really admire, and hopefully I can get one day. If you're listening, hello, you probably know who you are. But unfortunately, things fell through, as it does in life as well as in the creative sphere. It happens. So yeah, the King Kong disc there is almost a teaser. And without going too deep into it, I was reading through the special edition DVD set that I borrowed from a friend, actually. Then he said, "Oh, you can just keep it. You're making this video. Why not?" Very kind of you. Thank you, Andy. And there was more content in there. I was like, no way. There's this. And yeah, I can't wait to make it if it does happen one day. Fingers crossed it does. It all depends on how all these videos do. Playing a GBA game was not fun. I will say this much. I played it on original I play every game on original hardware if I can, and I did for this for a little bit, but then I played it for a bit and was like, right, I don't want to play anymore. I want to emulate it. I still had to get long play footage from like another channel just because like I didn't get to the end. But I did my research, of course. Don't worry, I always do. But I don't enjoy playing GBA games on a emulator. Although I mentioned earlier I would emulate stuff. I don't really enjoy it because I don't have a controller that really plays well with it. I do have a SNES controller, one that comes with the Super Nintendo Classic, so I should just get a dongle for that, really. But yeah, what are you gonna do? This bit came out of nowhere, really. Like, I was just, how do I explain it, really? They just popped out of nowhere. I was like, this DS version could just be the GBA version, but with the inventory at the bottom, and it could be a pretty dang good game, like a not bad game at all. The fluidity of the GBA game wouldn't have to keep stopping to mess around with menus. It could just be on the bottom screen. Yeah, I remember having the same kind of thoughts with, this is going to be a weird comparison, but Minecraft on the Wii U. I remember a friend of mine bought that, and the touchpad, or the gamepad, sorry, doesn't have inventory and stuff on it. Like, nothing really happens on the touchpad or gamepad, sorry. All you can do is play the game on it. And I thought of that for some reason when playing this, and I was like, oh, it's another one of these problems. Watching this video back, this, I don't know if you can tell, but I don't know the lines I'm going to say. Like, let me explain it better. Sorry, I just kicked my chair. My very expensive chair, oh dear. I memorize my lines, so I have like what I want to say, but then I kind of improvise what I want to say, if you catch my drift. I have a through line. It's a bit like professional wrestlers. I have my point A to point B, but I don't have the in-betweens, if you catch my drift. Just because that's how I work. So I was watching this back, I'm just surprised I did as well as I did, because I'm not a cameraman, I'm not a showman. The only reason I'm in front of the camera is I don't have an actor to do it for me, so I do it myself. That's why the COD video ended up being actually entirely voiceover. Was the name always Jessica? Yes. Fun fact, it wasn't that before I met my partner. Her name is Jessica. It just was Jessica. I needed to think of a basic name to fill in the gap, and I just thought of that. Sorry. Oh no, this is shot on my current phone, because my old phone is right there as a prop. In the original version, as I've mentioned probably many times now, I wrote this in a very deep depression. So you were going to see on screen what was being said, but I didn't find that funny. In retrospect, I should have cut this. I don't enjoy this outro. I don't think it's needed. But why not? I've kept it in, and I will keep it in. I think I was just struggling to find bloopers, and I just wanted something like personal on screen. But even then, I regret this. I don't think I'll be doing this kind of stuff again, unless it makes sense. Like, it doesn't need to be here. Maybe because it's the end of a two-parter, I don't know. I just kind of regret being on screen right now here. I don't know why, but looking back at it a long time later, it's a mistake. And I tried to think of a way to make it fun at the end, which then I put the forehead bit in there. Because why not? Anyways, on to the Doritos Games video. Right, well, this one came from nostalgia, really. I really enjoyed Doritos Crash Course back in the day. I remember playing it for hours upon hours, and then I remembered that for a very small space of time, Doritos released a lot of video games for free. Well, 4 was a lot to me, anyway. So that birthed this video. And this plot, the plots in general, like having mini plots and stuff, you can tell there was a retcon at the end. I want to discuss that quickly now. If I'm talking about this video as if you've watched it already, so if you haven't seen it yet, go and watch the original and then, watch this because it makes more sense. But yeah, I wrote a plot and I actually retconned it at the end. I just wasn't really happy with it. I found this still kind of funny, so I kept it. Also because I put the time and effort into the visual effects at this point. I know it's not top of the line, but making a radiating light for someone like myself was kind of hard. Nowadays it's not too hard to do since I'm more experienced, but even still, it took time, and yes, I have scrapped whole videos, but it's about, can I rework this with what I've got? And I did, I think, in quite a humorous way, in my kind of way of doing it. But actually playing the games themselves didn't take very long at all. One thing I've noticed about making these videos, right, is the gameplay portion is always the smallest portion of the video. I will say I do enjoy these little transitional videos, like going from one section to another. This bit had to be ADR'd because originally I wanted a Xbox Live Arcade video, like a retrospective of that, to be done as well for this season of content, but sadly, just due to time reasons and also, mainly just time, actually, now that I think about it, just time reasons, I wanted this out at some point. Like, this production cycle has been over a year, nearly a year and a half, I think, actually. From starting to write it to releasing them all, about a year and a half. I have the audio still, so I recorded the audio for it and then just kind of scrapped it. I still have it, don't worry, and I will reuse it one day, but I had to be like, it's got to be scrapped for now, put to the side, I think is a better way of saying it. It's been put to the side, and I will discuss it again one day, because I have a lot to say about the Xbox Live Arcade ecosystem itself. And even then, that was part 1. I spoke about it for an hour, and even then, I barely scratched the surface. Like, hopefully it becomes a series, if all things work out as I'd hope. This video really was just an excuse to talk about Doritos Crash Course, I feel. The rest of them were just kind of window dressing, because one of the things I want to do with my videos compared to others out there in this realm of, I don't know what we are, or they are, I guess I'm not one of them yet, is, I don't know, video game reviewers, content creators, I guess you say content creators, video game content creators. Being negative gets clicks, but there's one thing I can't really do, and that's enjoy negative media, or should I say, I can't enjoy not enjoying myself for very long. Maybe it's to do with something I have mentally going on, but I just don't have a glutton for punishment. I can enjoy bad funny, or funny bad, but just plain boring is like the worst possible thing for me. So thank God for this video, all the things that were boring, such as this game, really, like I didn't find it that fun at all to get footage for. It was extremely short. Same goes for Harm's Way. I didn't have much fun with it. But Doritos Crash Course, that was a fun one to record, man. Like, the gameplay, I didn't lie. I wanted to sit down for half an hour to play and play for like 2 hours plus. I could happily jump back into it again. It's such a simple game, but I love it. I had issues with the gunman thing. I couldn't unlock any other guns, and I don't know how. Like, I don't know if I had to keep getting kills or have to get an upgrade of some kind. So I just stuck to the sniper, and I watched gameplay later of the other guns. I have memory to them, of course, but for this recording session here, I had to stick with the sniper, which was annoying for me. But what are you gonna do? I think it was this video, from memory, that made me not want to as much have live footage, so as in recording myself in person in front of a camera. I might, from season 2 onwards, replace it just to be more special moments, cutaways, that kind of thing, because the Call of Duty video, which is going to be later in this commentary track, which I probably will actually, now thinking about it, just do a Cliff Notes thing where I just talk about my thoughts of it, because I'm not doing a commentary track for 2 hours. Not yet anyways. I'm just very worried that I'll have not much to say. Anyways. Like, I enjoy jokes like that and writing jokes like that in person, like for, visual gags, but I don't know, I really respect a lot of one-man crews now. Like I come from a film background, but even then, I work with tech which is not the best. Like, so let me say it this way. I can't see what I look like on camera. I don't have any cameras at all that let you say flip the camera or have a way to show what I look like. So I a lot of the time have to guess what the focus is going to be, for example. So some videos, I think this one, for example, looks a bit soft. And yeah, if I was ever going to upgrade my gear again, I'm happy with all of my equipment for now, apart from the camera. I would love to use my phone camera, and I'm trying to find ways to have that be a monitor in some way. Like, so I have my phone as my camera, and then since it's a Samsung Galaxy, I could probably find a way to screen mirror the phone on something else. I don't know. I'll find a way one day. Because this was such a long production cycle, so like I wrote the videos a long time ago, then recorded them, and then life got in the way. I got ill, I moved multiple times, and other things I don't want to talk about. I watched these footages. Hello, one take, baby. I watched the footage back as well as listening to my voiceover and looking at my writing, and things change. Like, people change. Like, for example, as I keep mentioning, these videos, at least to start with, were recorded over a year and a half ago now. Like, see, shot 22nd of October 2020. I'm recording this now, the 3rd of March 24th of March 2022. People change, you know. So I had to call some audibles and jokes I was just not happy with anymore. That Adult Swim joke popped up because I originally was going to have a joke about being like alone and all that, because a lot of these videos, apart from the Night Trap one and the COD one, were recorded at a very emotional time for myself. You might hear this from a lot of creators and a lot of creative types. Their best work comes from when they're emotional, sad, that kind of crap. And a lot of the times it is true, if it's not your job. But even then, you know, a lot of the time people do tap into their emotions to create content, and I did for a while. If it weren't for, like, I've always had a drive to make videos. I do videos for a living at the moment, but personal stuff is what interests me more. Anyway, back to this video in question. This was the funnest bit to write, 100%. I really enjoyed writing the Doritos Crash Course bit because I've never actually seen praise about this game before. So I just was really excited to actually big this game up a bit, especially because the servers are still on. It's still free online to download, unlike Doritos Crash Course 2, which is really depressing for me, but the video talks about that, and I'll talk about more when we get there. I was really sad I couldn't find anyone to play this with me, and I record, at least at the time, I recorded all my stuff really late at night or unsocial hours, so I couldn't really get anyone in contact to help me get footage. I've played local split screen since with my 2 younger brothers, and yeah, it still as great as ever. Like, I love this game, and if you take anything away from this video, definitely download it. I would like to say it send a message to people that, at least the higher ups of Microsoft, that hey, we want this, but I doubt we'll ever get a sequel to this again because of Crash Course 2's pretty big failure, I guess, unfortunately. This was quite tough as well because I don't see myself as a critic, really. It's interesting, right? Because I have a film podcast, I critique movies, I studied it for a while, but critiquing games is so new to me. Like, I'm learning every time I create a new video, you know? And this was a good test for me to delve into why I enjoyed this game so much. Is it more than just the controls? And, well, I think the video speaks for itself. I'm pretty dang proud of it. I am happy with how it turned out. Sharing about the cropping of the footage, like you can see right now on screen, but, you know, it happens, man. It happens. Just double checking we're still recording. Lovely. Yeah, like, you got a little glimpse into my mindset just then, actually, because I made the as dead as my social life joke. And I'm not wrong, but, like, you know, my real life kind of delved into my art there. So, like, yeah, you can see here that the video is pretty soft. I shot it with white lights, so I have 2 studio lights that I did use. But yeah, this is a downside here of me just not being able to focus properly. I did my best, but it's like a 1.5 inch screen or something. It's tiny. It's an old Nikon D3300, I think it is. I will say I'm a big fan of any transition that keeps the video being fluid. See, like, look, I look so soft, man. Like, yeah, definitely. Like, the pillows in the background are in focus, but I'm not. But what are you gonna do, man? You live and learn, don't you? Yeah, I was talking about transitions. I do my best to keep it fluid. This video, for example, here with the zooms and stuff, just so the eyes don't get bored, you know? Because when you're dealing with still images, you got to keep it interesting somehow. Little insight into my life there. That screenshot was taken at about midnight. so yeah, I do play on sociable hours. But yeah, finally, I am a big fan of fluid editing, so never having a cut that you really notice or feel, if you know what I mean. Like, for example, look at the screen right now, a cut has happened. Whenever I can, I love to have the video have a fluid cut. So for example, that the Doritos Crash Course 2 loading screen, I try to think of a way to mask a cut, because I actually recorded a completely different take. It was supposed to be one long thing. So what I did was had it in the corner, had it zoom in, zoom back out. That masked the transition, you know. Sorry, it acted as the transition. Sorry, not masked it. It did mask the take though. Hey, there we go, saved it. Yeah, it's really sad watching this gameplay back, man, because I have memories, of course, of Doritos Crash Course 2. That's what I'm taking this entire section from, is my memory. But I loved Crash Course 2, man. It is a shame it's gone. Here, I was just, I couldn't think of a way to mask the transition, so I just had it zoomed in. I notice a lot of content creators do this, actually, is they just zoom in a bit, because it keeps the viewer looking at the screen. Shout out to Bongfish. It keeps the viewer looking at the screen, but it masks the transition. See what I did there? I held and then had to do a transition to talk about transitions. See, you even get jokes in the commentary tracks, people. Like, sorry, I'm just looking at this video now, and yeah, I'm so soft. It's really annoying, man. But like, if anything, it's a learning experience. Each video I create is a learning experience. I nowadays will be probably shooting with my phone, just because the autofocus is good. Like that shot looks fine in my opinion. Shout out to my grandparents. This was shot in their place. I don't live there. So this is where the original plot ends, and then yeah, this is me in the editing process noting how rough the original plot was, and then tried to save it. Basically, this is me trying to save the video, and it still makes me smile, the improv I did. Some people might have questions quickly about this this ending thing I do. I've noticed people don't really stay at the end. They don't really. Best way to describe it is, the cards that appear at the end. I mean, when this video ends, there'll be cards at the end, because I just follow through is important, I guess. But at least from the side of the internet people will have blockers on. For example, I use a modded version of YouTube that will skip end cards. It will skip self-promotions and stuff. Subscribe, by the way. Haha, see? If you have one, it probably just skipped it just then. Script, the commentary is continuing. So I wanted to try and think of a way to, inadvertently, this wasn't fully planned. The original plan was I just wanted the last 20 seconds to be entertaining, so that people would end the video and be like, yeah, I enjoyed that, more than, ooh, what's next, if you know what I mean. I know that might sound weird, but each video is a product of itself. Like, each video is its own video, and I want to keep it like that. But in a way, I found a way to mask the issue of the end card problem, I like to call it, because yeah, although there are end cards on there, I'm still giving you some content. Normally it's going to be, and it has been for most of the season, like a blooper or something that I edited but it didn't fit in the main structure of the video, or an extended cut of something. But bloopers are probably the best thing, because there's always bloopers. You can probably tell from the way I've had to edit this, like, there's going to be some fades. I can tell already in my head. I've had to cover for myself because I was just silent sometimes, and that just happens when you're recording. Anyway, that is the Doritos Games video. On to the PS5 one, I think, is the next one. I don't know. I can't wait for the season to be over so I can just release it and be happy with it. There have been so many changes. Like the COD video, for example, I re-rendered it I think 4 times in total, because I noticed little things when I rewatched it, and when I was time stamping the video I noticed little things. And yeah, eventually you've got to release the content and be like, it's done, I'm happy with this. Speaking of, on to the next video. Hello and welcome to the PS5 video commentary track. I am not going to do a full commentary track on this because this is me just messing about with the video software. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk until I can't talk no more, then we're moving on to the COD video. Dear God, I'm scared to record that. I might do the same thing for that, I don't know, but if I do, I'm going to take some notes. But with this one, I was struggling, right, to find content to use the PS5 for, if you catch my drift. Like, I have a PS5, me and my partners went half on it. It was a ball ache to get because they are just ball aches to get, like any expensive piece of tech is nowadays. Dear God, I hate life. And when I saw this, I thought this could be a very simple video. Like, I take big pride in the fact that my videos are quite complex in terms of like their narrative, at least for me. So like, they're long. To me, they're long, you know? Like, my plan was to have a season of content with one kind of long video and the rest being like medium length videos. But I really needed to try and work out what could be easier to make content, and I came up with this. One day I woke up, annoyingly on the hottest day in the year of the UK of that year, 2021, and it was flipping hot, man, trust me. This is in my old flat. This is a 1-bedroom flat, right, where technically, if you don't include the entranceway where the toilet is, there are 2 rooms. So it was a kitchen and living room with a tiny bedroom. Like, that flat pushed me and my partner's relationship to the brink, and we survived, so we could probably survive anything. Love you, Jess. And I think this video turned out fine. I do believe maybe I could have edited this a little better, but the thing is, I wanted to see if I could shoot this and edit it in a day. I didn't succeed, but I shot it in one day and edited it in another. One thing that's been unique about this season of content is I pushed myself. Like, each video to some degree was different. Like, there's no formula I've created yet. And I don't know if I ever will, to the extent I know other creators do, but I just wanted to try and push my love of certain things that don't get talked about much to the world of gaming. And then, yeah, this had a video editing software. I played about with it for a minute. I was like, this could be interesting to get my natural response to. It came out to be a 23-minute video. If I was to do it again, that's a loud seagull, I don't know if you heard that. If I was to do it again, I don't know if it would be as long as it is, maybe 19 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. Funnily, this video got copyright striked, or not striked, claimed. Claimed and strikes are different people. Just made that mistake and I had to correct myself. From one of the stocks music things. I don't know what the licensing is with them. I've asked people on the PlayStation Reddit and PlayStation themselves via their Ask PlayStation account. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm guessing it's just a unique Creative Commons license or some kind of crap. Like, you can use it for personal use but can't use it for commercial use, maybe. I don't know. It's not explicitly said anywhere on the app. I'm sure there is somewhere online in the small print, like, the audio can only be used for personal videos, unmonetized, blah 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 blah. I don't know. But the video itself is pretty self-explanatory on how I made it. Set up a camera, I'm sweating my cock off. The cameo from Frank, my partner's parrot, was funny. It's almost foreshadowed in a way because there's a cage next to me. But the reason he's next to me that is because our flat was so small that we had to make do with what we had. I recorded the footage of this game along the way, just as I played the game. The video itself, I got nothing else to say, but I will say the software itself, it's fine for a quick video. Like, you're adding 2 clips together and you want to snip them. Like, I couldn't see anyone professionally or outside of a clip or like a hobbyist using this software. And I understand that's probably what it's for, but I wanted to critique it fairly because I've used free software before, such as DaVinci Resolve, and I know that's not apples to oranges. That's apples to, I don't know, fake apples, sweet apples. I don't fucking know, but they're not the same thing. They're not the same beast. but since I'm an editor, I wanted to try it, you know. Anyways, I think that's all I can constructively say about this video. I did enjoy making it. Hopefully people enjoy it and I can make more trying to make a review or trying to make a video in kind of things. I do have other ideas of how I'm going to make lower effort content. So by that I'm saying things that don't take months out of my life to make. So like, for example, this COD video. I keep coming back to it, but this COD video is my magnum opus. And I'm almost building up hype to it for this video and the commentary track, which, yeah, I'm dreading that. That's been the through line arc of this video, me dreading the COD video. Like, I recorded these out of order, and that one's going last, baby. But yeah, this video, I'm not as proud of it as I'd like to be, but in terms of trying to make a video quickly and seeing if it's possible, I'm happy with it. I'd do a lot again if I could. I wouldn't show myself on the screen, but I felt like you need to see my natural reaction because this is my natural reaction to using the software for the first time, you know? Yeah, I think that's all I got to say. Enjoy. Enjoy what? I don't know, but enjoy. Bye. Hello everyone and welcome to the final commentary track season 1, the one I've been dreading. The Call of Duty video. I've been sitting on this for about a month now at this point. I had no idea how to do this commentary track, so instead of just watching the 2-hour video and doing a feature-length commentary, I don't think I've earned the ability to do that yet. I don't think I can talk shit for 2 hours like this. I don't know. I could try it, but I don't know. I rewatched the video off camera, and I'm just going to say what comes randomly to me, and then we're going to call it there. If I think of anything else in post, I'll throw it in on screen or something, but here we go. The reason this video even came about is because I played this game so much and I wanted to justify my time. Like, I'm not the kind of guy that spends hours upon hours playing games, like a game I should say. I have my time with it, then move on. It's rare I stick with one for like a really long time. But I played a lot of Cold War, and I think in about April of 2021 I realised I'd already played quite a lot of it, and I feared I was going to play even more. I say feared, I enjoyed my time, but I wanted to justify it or something. So I recorded some random B-roll of COD already because I video edit stuff regarding video games, currently anyway, and I just thought, hey, I might need some COD footage one day. I don't play COD much anymore. I'll throw this in, why not? So that's why I have my first match I played. That's why I have the footage of that. It's because I just thought, why not? But it was in April of 2021 I started to actively think, alright, I'm going to start recording this now. And not taking notes, but just mentally realizing, fun fact, it's now April I'm recording this. I just had mental notes of like, okay, I remember this, and that's what I did. I wasn't lying about the campaign. Also, by the way, I'm doing this assuming you've seen it already. This is not a replacement for the video. Watch the video, then come back and listen to this if you want to hear more about it. If not, hi, how you doing? So the campaign I did play once. I played a couple missions again and watched some clips just to refresh my memory. But I knew when I said to myself, I'm going to do a video, is that most of the time was going to go to zombies. It turns out I was wrong. I think more time went to multiplayer. I think zombies got a bit more time actually, but I was surprised how much time multiplayer even got, just because I'm not a big multiplayer guy really. Like, I pay for Xbox Live and all that, but I don't play video games online that much. I love my Rocket League, but that's about it really. Yeah. I was really surprised how long this video was. Like, my mindset was just keep writing until you have nothing else to say. And I did cut some things. Like, I think if I kept everything I wrote, it would have been about 2.5 hours. But honestly, a lot of this talk will probably be about the editing, but about half an hour into the runtime of this video, I just grew to hate this video, man. Like, if you watch any documentary about filmmakers, I think I even said this myself when I made my short film Polybius. the creator a lot of the time grows to hate their products because you've seen it so much, you hear lines repeated over and over again, and that was the case with this project of mine. I grew to despise it because I remember I said to my partner, I was about 15 minutes into the editing, in terms of the runtime, and I said to her, right, it's the start of December, I'm not really going to work this month. I'm just going to spend all of my time, as in all my working time, because I work freelance at the moment, editing this video. And I think I got 35 minutes in, I think. Like, I really, really, really underestimated how hard this project was going to be and how long this was going to take. I wish I kept... This video inspired me to keep, like, a log of how long it takes me to make a video. I'm not including the recording, because at least I'm not going to right now. Maybe I'll regret that down the line. But right now, from starting the shooting process to editing, I'm going to take note of that. Writing, I'm not going to track, because writing for me is a very free-flowing process. Like, sometimes I can... Like, for this video, sometimes I'd isolate myself and write for 4 hours, and everything I write is gold, or at least, usable. Gold is the wrong word to say. Usable. But then there's times where I try to write, and 5 minutes in, I'm like, no, nothing's coming. I'm going to do this another day. In terms of the editing process, what I did was I edited the audio first, and then once I hit a wall of, like, I'm tired of listening to just audio, I just then swapped. I then swapped and did the bit I just made. I tried to keep a flow of, like, for every hour, I get about a minute done, and I kept that pretty well, in my opinion. Sometimes that wasn't the case, because, like, I'd have an idea and spend ages looking for said idea, but sometimes I was getting minutes done in half that time. I did edit everything at 2 times speed. I do that for my other work anyway, so I did it with this. And if you're an editor out there and you want some tips, I'm just going to double check we're still recording. Yep, we're all good. Hello there, it's my OBS. You can hear this? Lovely. Yeah, if you want any advice, honestly, edit at faster speeds if you can. Just going to check something while I'm recording some professional. The reason for that is, if you get the skill down of listening to faster talking, it's so useful as an editor. Like, I wish I learnt this sooner, because a lot of the work I do, unfortunately, is paid per project, not per the time you do, per hour. If you can, freelancers, try and get a job that does per hour, or, like, respects you. Don't do per project unless, like, you've got a batch order, or, like, it's reasonable, because, yeah, whatever. I'm discussing my shitty job on a commentary. So yes, if you take away anything from this and you're a editor of either video or audio, VFX, you can't do this sadly, is edit at faster speeds. So with some projects I can edit at 3 times speed. I have a friend who can do it in 4. It's just gibberish to me. It all depends on the person, but yeah, with me 2 times speed was fine. I find I have a problem with fast talking anyways. I don't know if you have that problem if you've watched any of my videos, or even right now. I feel I talk fast, and a lot of the times when I'm recording, if you ever notice an edit where, like, it's quite a weird jump or something, it's normally me redoing part of the take, because I said to myself, right, slow down. Like, just yesterday I recorded a video about Far Cry, and there are times where I recorded a line and was like, nah, I gotta do that again, I spoke way too fast. I don't know why. I don't know if any of you out there are a creator. I don't know. Do you have this? Like, once you get in front of the script, things kind of change. Like, your mannerisms of talking, and you can recite lines really well, but you mess up and speak faster. By the way, such a small technique there, but that is one of my favorite transitions I did in this video. It's such a simple technique, having something be in focus, blocking the transition, and then you can, reveal what's behind it. I wish I could do that more. I take great pride in when I can think of a good transition, but the problem is, like, I make these videos for free. I'm making free content. You've got to draw the line eventually of, like, trying to be cool and stylish. Like, I feel every time I make a video, there's at least one thing where I'm like, that was cool, or I learned something, or I did something cool there. and I wish every video I could do those things with, but time is time, man. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this in any of the other commentaries, but I've been working on these 6 videos. Oh, I think it was 14 to 16 months from having the idea of what I want the videos to be to, releasing them. I don't know if I'll do that again. We'll see what time does and how I keep up with my new schedule I'm trying to give myself. But I lost my point, so I'm just going to keep talking. See, I mean, I am not good at these commentaries. I don't know how a lot of people, these people do it. Then again, I've listened to some pretty poor commentaries. I guess I should talk about the video, huh? Yeah, the campaign section was really short, and I do apologise for that, since I bet there is some like card fanatics who really, really love the story, or maybe have lots of things to say, but I just don't. These transitions were very fun to make. I had the idea of like a still shot, and then literally it's just a still shot, some zooming text. I think the image is still. That's a like stock fire effect, and that riff is from. It's some song from Cold War. I remember hearing it in the menu once and thinking that sounds cool, and then took a note of the song name. That is genuinely launch month gameplay. I didn't get it launch, as I mentioned in the video. I got it a month afterwards, and I don't regret that, because literally nothing happened in that month. Like when I joined in, there wasn't even season 1 yet. I do fear with this video that I do notice I repeat some points. What are you gonna do? I wrote, what was it, 30 plus pages, and they were in like 10 size 10 fonts. I'm gonna make some mistakes. I'll learn from that and move on. But I also worry that some of my thoughts are uneducated, because I don't play COD really anymore. Like I mentioned in this video, I'm a Treyarch guy. Maybe I'll redeem that for a video one day. I don't know, man. I do apologise, by the way, about my voice. I should have brought a drink in with me, but we're doing this one take, baby. And I'm going to keep going until I run out of things to say. Hey, I didn't say these commentary tracks would be good, I just said I'd do them. Going on about the length, it was a big challenge for me, because I had to break it up into like minutes, really. Like I'd edit a minute and think that is done. Okay, this has got my focus now, and I tried not to think about the bigger picture, because it was daunting, man. It was really daunting to create a 2-hour video. Like what inspired me is, like, I made shorter videos for this series of content, but I knew that I wanted something feature length, because to stand out on YouTube nowadays, you either need ultra short or ultra long content, I find. Both of them have their audiences, and then the rest of this, 10 to 25-minute videos, like they're a dime a dozen, and I worry that the ones I created are, but you can't, at least I can't create 2-hour long videos every month. I couldn't do that. This was a great test to see how long it takes to make a video like this. And if I want to include, so like, time is a flowing thing. So like, I don't, like, some days, I worked on it for an hour. Some days I didn't work on it at all. Some days I worked on this for 6 hours. But say I worked daily, which I pretty much did, minus a few off days. I was always doing something for this video when I started production. This did take, this took 6 months to make this video. Yeah. Because I started actually making the video in October, because I thought I have enough to start actually recording the audio now, because the audio wasn't recorded in one go. The audio was recorded, I think, in 5 goes. I did the intro and the campaign. I did half multiplayer, half of the other half multiplayer, and then you can guess with the zombies, 2 halves again. Because I think in total I have about 4 hours of raw audio, I think, something like that. It was torture, man, going through that. It was like, I'm used to going through like 10 to 20 minute videos for my work. So to go through and edit 4 hours worth of audio down to 2 hours was just torture, man. And I did think halfway through, should I pause, like, as in stop the recording and edit it then? But I worried that I'd have like a weird pace in terms of my speech, and I'd kind of lose my will there. I didn't notice there that there's a watermark on there. That doesn't bother me at all. I don't care, but I never noticed that. It's so low quality. One thing I noticed as well about this is this is probably the best example I've ever had of how bad YouTube's compression is. Like I rendered, like I will say, I do. This has been a note for me as well. I need to record in a high quality. I still record at 1080p 60, but the bit rate I think was like 25 megabits a second. I've bumped that up now to 35, and according to that online, 35 is still known as medium. Like, Jesus, people, if you watch video game content creators and they have high quality gameplay footage, they're recording at some high quality stuff. Yeah, they must have lots of hard drives. Saying that, I literally am looking at an 8TB one right now I bought as extra to go on with my other 2 and 4TB ones. Because, yeah, the gameplay is massive, man. Speaking of that, the gameplay... how much was it in total? I think it was 1.1 terabytes. I need to double check. I think it was 1.1 terabytes of footage for this video, as in, COD footage. I considered doing on-screen stuff, but after creating this season of content, I've kind of veered away from it. I think I can be on screen for like cutaways and maybe setups, and that's about it. I don't want to be... Basically, I want on screen to be either having a purpose or I can't fill it with anything else. Like, sometimes people cut to themselves because they don't have any B-roll that they can use. And, yeah. In this case, I didn't have that problem because... I mean, I'm talking about the game constantly, so I can just throw what I need to up, and I have, like I said, 1.1 terabytes of footage. In terms of editing, I had fun, definitely at points, like thinking of transitions, doing little on-screen jokes. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but I like to use text on screen as like further explaining or further, discussing the point I'm on about, whether that be correcting myself or having a note. I really enjoy doing notes. When I first got into a channel called Defunct Lands, his first season of content, he would have on-screen title cards, on-screen jokes or on-screen addendums and stuff, and those really add to the video in my opinion because you're in a different mindset now. The writing process is over, the recording process is over. Basically, the hard parts in terms of mental, how do I describe it really? Because writing and recording is mentally taxing. Editing is too, but in a different way. Like when you're writing, you're working with nothing really. Like you have a blank canvas. I know it's the same with the editing software, but with the editing software, you have the recordings you've already done. Yeah. So I probably said that in a very bad way, but I hope you get my drift. Like, it's a whole different ballgame, writing to editing to shooting footage, and with that clear mindset and like retrospective mindset, you can notice things or like have a joke about the footage you have. Like I remember at one point in the multiplayer section, I think there was someone with an amazing name, and I put a little thing saying, "What a name," I'm running dry, I think. I can't think of anything else. I'm trying to think. Let's talk multiplayer. Anything to mention about multiplayer? I wasn't joking about how long you wait in this game. Like, you are waiting for a long time in between games. Like, I'm very sad. I don't know if Namco's patent still is a thing. So if you don't know, Namco has a patent for basically games during a loading screen. I don't know if it's expired now, but if you've ever wondered why you can't do a unique game in a loading screen, that's why. Like, the closest we can get is like practice zones in like things like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, because it's not technically a mini game, it's practicing. And also Splatoon had like a climbing thing, but it's not really a game because there's no goal, you just keep jumping up. So I really wish COD had that. Like, you're in, like, for example, with Gunfight, maybe you can go into a bot lobby if you want to and play while you wait, or train, or do anything really. Like, all you can do really is go through the menus and then check your phone. Like, it's really annoying and boring. I really wish they'd add that, but I don't know. I'm not a game developer. Do you have any insights of watching me make this video?
Oh, yeah. I never wish to watch that process again. It was
No?
Yeah, you put in all your effort. It was good.
Well, I made a point earlier. I said I'll dedicate 2 weeks and try and finish it in 2 weeks, and I got, I think, 20 minutes through, and the final product's 2 hours. Little audio quality change here, but I'm actually traveling right now. I've recorded part of the COD commentary track, and there's something I really wanted to discuss that I didn't actually consider to talk about. I even filmed some footage of me traveling, like last year and the year before, and this year, but I never really used it, so I'll put it on screen probably now. I wrote and edited these videos in a variety of places, trains, different countries, many different people's houses, Airbnbs, hotels. I took the work with me, and I was always working. This came into my head because I'm about to start working on the script for a different video and also the audio for a different video. I've recorded the audio already, and I'm going to edit it together. I just wanted to, talk about quickly the process of working while traveling. It's interesting because these videos were always on my mind. I don't know if I'm going to keep it in or not, but my missus, my partner, she mentioned that I was always thinking about it, and it is true. Whenever there was a moment where I wasn't working, or I wasn't gaming, or I wasn't spending time with her, even sometimes I would say, no, I want to edit, instead of spending time with her. I would spend my time working. And I know this amount of time I spent like a year and a half, and I only made 6 videos. But a lot did happen between that, both in terms of personal and professional, in this sense. By that I mean I scrapped some videos. I recorded audio for I think 2 videos, that of which I want to repurpose for season 2. But I'm not sure if I will. I don't know. I think I will for one about the Xbox Live Arcade games. I might repurpose that because I really did enjoy that video, and I think that is my kind of style. I really enjoy this kind of videos where it's an overall subject, such as Call of Duty or the PlayStation VR, which is one I'm working on, or Xbox Live Arcade, and then from there I get to deep dive into little things. Like, for example, the PSVR, I get to talk about a shed load of games. Sure, maybe 1 or 2 of the games I could make a whole video about, but I am not an amazing writer. Like, the reason I spent so long talking about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is twofold. It's a massive game with so much content, and I had to explain that content to viewers who didn't understand what it was, and I spent so much time on it. And I still believe that is why I spent so much. The video is so long, and I have so much to say. In a way, like when I edit it, I still think like I only talked about this for 10 minutes. Like, really? Like the zombie section was only, I think, like 45 minutes. Like, I'm really surprised that they ended up as long as they were, or as short as they were, in my opinion. So maybe I'll improve on that. Maybe I'll expand more with details in the future. But I don't know. I didn't want to ramble like I am right now. Like, this is not scripted rambling. I'm sat in someone else's house in a different country to the one I live in, just talking shit, about my work. I think I'll cut it there so I stop rambling. If this video continues, I've thought of other things to say. If not, see ya. I do actually want to add one last thing to this video. So there was music bumping right above me. I just screamed at the top of my lungs, "Shut the F up," and they turned the music down, which is quite funny. Those are the people that live above me. But the thing is, you can probably tell I just fucked my voice, and I'm about to record the next video. So I just wanted to add an addendum to the Call of Duty commentary video, which is, you can probably hear my partner's pet, a parrot, going off as well, because the music sets him off. When recording the COD video, I had to deal with those people above me as well. And I think one of the other videos I re-recorded here. So that has been a massive challenge, because even though I have a good condenser mic, it still picks up things, especially bass. And I just wanted to add that to the end of this video. It took me screaming at the top of my lungs to get them to turn it down. So cheers for watching. Love you all. Goodbye. Here we go. I'm in my office. It's a bit dirty. Sorry about that, but yeah. You could probably hear, like, my mic's going to pick that up, isn't it? So, brilliant.